What's up, you guys? It's the Pisces Oracle, maybe if you know me, and I'm coming to y'all with my first YouTube video. Not my first ever YouTube video, but my first YouTube video is the Pisces Oracle. You feel me? But so I recently got a request, and I've been starting this YouTube thing off for a while. I got a request from a coworker of my cousin. Shout out to my cousin for always talking about me and speaking highly of me, because it only would have been positive if she would have brought this up. But so pretty much she was asking for my information because she wanted a video on tarot and oracle cards. And I thought, who better than me, the oracle, to come to y'all and show y'all my cards, as well as showing y'all my favorite cards, how to interpret the cards, and a easy 3-card spread. Let's get to it. So I'm gonna start off with my first ever deck of cards that I got as a gift for Christmas. And I hate that saying that, you should always get gifted your first deck of cards, but I feel like it's more so you're meant to read cards if you gifted your first deck of cards, right? And so what I will say about tarot cards is, in tarot cards, there are 4 definite suits. There's the guaranteed facts. And I feel like the easiest way to interpret it, to intuitively read tarot, is to be able to know numerology. If you know numerology, or you know the science of numbers, 9 times out of 10 it'll be much easier to interpret the tarot cards. But so there are 4 suits. There are cups, wands, swords, and pentacles, right? And so cups represent spirituality, relationships, communication. It can represent wealth in a sense, the flow of currency. If you know the water element, your relationship to the water element usually defines how you interpret cups. As well as wands would be fire, actions, passions. It would be determination and drive, if that makes sense. That's really how I equate that. Speed in a sense of certain things, but I don't really go to tarot for speed. I like to use oracle or heads or tails, just definite answers. For what is it? There wands. Swords is going to be air. It's going to be communication, problem solving. It's going to be intellect. It's going to be deep thinking in a sense of how it correlates to other people, your relationships to other people, the general vibe, aura in a collective, instead of just that cup's energy of your feelings in a relationship and communication. And then for pentacles, we all know earth signs, the stability, the wealth, the money, but it's also, I feel like pentacles really represents discipline. It represents those boundaries that you have to place, those lessons you have to teach yourself, those kind of things. I get really big Saturn energy from pentacles, and I hate that because I hate tying Saturn and money, but I feel like Saturn and money go so well together. But so tarot cards from Spencer. Shout out to Spencer's. Then I have my Modern Witch tarot cards, which are currently in use, so I'm not going to grab them. I have my Kabbalah card. Now we're moving on to Oracle cards. Maybe I should say that. But so, looking back, here we have my oracle cards. I'm the Pisces Oracle. Obviously, I have more oracle cards than tarot cards. I just feel like tarot never really gives me the message how the oracle will read for filth, right? Okay. And so in my oracles, before I get deep dive into the oracles that I do have, I want to talk about cartomancy, right? Cartomancy is the art of divination through reading cards, yes. But also, cartomancy is the art of being able to read playing cards as divination cards. So you see, in Hoodoo, African American slave magic traditions, we believe that everything can be a sign from God, a message from God. You know, anything can be interpreted. Everything is spiritual at the deepest sense. Hoodoo, in my opinion, originates from animism, right? Which is the belief that everything is alive. Even the wind is alive. Everything is alive. Your house is alive. The lights are alive. Every single thing is alive. So move consciously throughout the world. And I feel like I think Buddhists also think this way because they have a mantra where they say it while they walk. That way they feel the relief of the remorse that they get from stepping on bugs, because they care about how many bugs they step on in a day. I was like, that's crazy. Y'all look crazy, but they're not. They're really not. They're just very conscious and aware and very in tune with their spirituality. So back into what I was saying, these are my playing card decks, right? So I have just one deck with no writing on it for general messages. Most of the time when I have to pull that out is because I can't receive a message, so I have to literally intuitively get the message, and I just use the cards as kind of a medium to kind of like automatic writing. Whenever I'm shuffling the cards, I just start receiving downloads. It's a very beautiful thing. Then I have these cards that certain cards have stuff on them, certain cards don't, which are to be interpreted as they are, depending on, I thought this had a band on it. Depending on what the card looks like, what the card says, if the card is missing anything, you know. My ancestors are very big on paying attention to the little detail in the keys. This was my first ever, not necessarily my first ever, because my first ever, I lost it when I was in Louisiana, but this is my second first ever card deck that I made from scratch, and I used the same method and the same cheat sheet, so it's pretty much the same exact one, except it's not the same cards. But so yeah, I've had this one since 2021 now. I left Louisiana in 2021. I made that at the end of 2021. And then these are my unicorn oracle cards. These cards right here, if I'm reading these cards, for one, I'm praying for you, because these cards are from my inner child when I used to be called the unicorn queen in middle school and at an elementary. And it's really fucking funny because that little woman could definitely see, hear, and talk to spirits, and it was very weird, very cool. And so when I'm reading those cards, usually it's because your inner child is having to heal. You're having to do some soul healing, and soul healing is very intense. It's very emotional, and no one really enjoys it. I mean, the outcome afterwards is amazing, but during it, it's like dying. And so now we're gonna get into my oracle cards. I have the Moon Magic Oracle. They look like this. I got these from Five and Below. I love going up in there and picking stuff up, but I told myself I gotta stop going up in there because everything is $5. Nothing is below other than the candy. I also got this deck because when I first started reading cards, the Moon in Pisces, be aware of indulging in negative and depressive tendencies. Okay, first, stay positive. When I first started reading cards, I had this deck. I had got that Modern Witch deck. I've had that deck. These are my oldest decks. I've had them since I began this journey. But I had some Moonology oracle cards and some playing cards, like I said. And the Moonology and the other playing cards have departed and left me, and they're no longer with me. You know, they were meant to be gone. Obviously, I appreciate the spirits are working through them and all that good nature. But long story short, they're gone. So I had to make up for it. So I had to go get me some more moon cards. And personally, being a Scorpio moon and a Libra moon, 9 times out of 10, when I feel it's time to let something go, I let it go. And if me balancing the scales equals letting you go, then I have to let you go. And that's funny because that applies to something that I just recently went through, but that applies to literally my life. Like, child, let that go. Next, we have my Kabbalah Oracle cards. I got these from Books A Million, I think, or a bookstore. These are the Kabbalah Oracle. I've read these on my TikTok. I want to do an in-depth reading for YouTube specifically because the readings take like a good 30 to 45 minutes to fully interpret, maybe even an hour. If y'all want that, let me know in the comments and I will definitely do that. It's just a very in-depth thing, and to tap into your tree of life is to tap into like your kundalini energy and to tap into your soul and your Akashic records all in one, really. And being a Pisces and having been tapped into all that, noticing that when I tapped into the tree of life and when I do my tree of life coaching, it's usually tapping into someone's authentic soul energy. It's like, oh yeah, this ain't even my stuff to see. This is baby, put some clothes on, if that makes sense. Just But so next we have my, what are these, runes? Yeah, my rune oracle cards. I got these because I like reading runes on the, I think it's like the Moonology app or something. I like reading runes on the app, but I didn't like that I couldn't touch them or feel them. I'm very intuitive. I wanted to get a deeper message, and I feel like the message is always cloudy when I receive a message through technology. Like, that's why I like to talk, I like to see, I like to interact, I like to be able to go real in depth because I need clarity. I'm one of those people, I don't like liars and I don't like half truths. I need the full, whole truth. And if I'm missing something, I feel like I'm missing something, I'm gonna ask. And if I have to ask and you have to lie, then 9 times out of 10, you were omitting that stuff for a reason, because you know you would have had to make a bigger lie if you would have told me the full truth. So I just leave it be. I just solved it myself when I got some room cards. These are my karma cards. And this is the guidebook. I've had these cards since 2022. I don't remember when I got these cards, but I feel like I might have got them around the same time I got some of these. I got some of these while I had restocked everything and bought all new clothes and stuff when I had moved back from Louisiana. So these are my chakra cards. My best friend actually got me these. I love them so much. These are my Isis Oracle cards. I got these sometime last year. I don't remember where I got them from, but I remember looking at them and going, Isis has been calling out to me a lot. Maybe this is her wanting to be venerated as well as be more a part of my practice and my journey. Because whatever, you know, you incorporate into your journey, usually it's going to be in your journey for a while. It's going to be present for a while. It's one of those things, you know. Next, I have my Focus on the Good cards that I also got from 5 and Below. Now, the thing about the Focus on the Good cards is it has these lines on the back where it gives you a little template. I'm trying to... That doesn't make sense. It might have worked. I think it worked. But so long story short, it has these little things on the back and the little lines, and it says, I am most proud of my blank, 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 blank. Yeah, on each and every one. And you know, I stopped opening these cards because I started to not know what to write on them. But I think it's more so a thing of, it shouldn't be that difficult. Be proud of the little things. Be proud of tying your shoe. Be proud of getting out of bed. Be proud of brushing your teeth, you know, stuff like that. Be proud of doing your makeup, your hair, simple stuff. And then these are my Dream Goddess cards. Now these cards I use with my spell work, so I stopped, there we go. These cards I use with my spell work, so I literally stopped reading with them. Because it started to be every time I read cards, I had to do like an initiation and a meditation and a little communication with a new deity that I hadn't worked with and stuff like that. And so I noticed the same deities kept coming out, and I was like, okay, that was them telling me, you know, right now just work with them. When it's time for me to read these, I'll read these again. And the thing is, when I read these, I feel like I read these in a sense of people are asking who is their deity, who is their guide, what spirituality, sector, religion, region, race should they be looking into, you know? the nationality of their spirits and stuff like that. That's what they're looking for when I pull those cards out. Yeah, those are all of my cards that I can think to show you guys right now. And so while I'm putting these cards up, I'm going to tell you about the easiest way to read cards, right? So we already went through the different suits of the cards. We already went through the properties. Now what you do, I like to teach it like this. And you can book my spiritual monthly mentorship and my link tree. It's $233 a month. You have like 24-hour access to me and a whole bunch of benefits. You get free spell work, stuff like that. So it's a nice little thing. But so, how do I put this? Reading cards is like reading or writing a paper. And I say this for any cards that I read, right? And I always tell people this, and they don't really get it until I show them, which is why I'm trying to think of how to explain it to you. But think of each card as a letter. And since each card is a letter, 9 times out of 10, that means it's going to take up a couple cards to make a sentence. It's going to take a couple cards to make a paragraph. And if you're looking for an in-depth answer, you're not supposed to just get 1, 2, or 3 cards. You're supposed to get that in-depth paragraph answer, which is why personally I really don't like to show certain readings on live, because certain readings get really personal and they get really intense, and you know, things come up for people that they weren't expecting to talk about, or it may be something traumatic that should have been talked about to where they could have expressed themselves more openly and freely, and it would have been more of a benefit, like a little therapy session or whatever, stuff like that. And that's why I pay attention to what I'm doing, who I'm reading for, and how the cards are reading, right? So right now I'm going to use the cinnamon stick to activate the energy charge and bring in some strength. These cards are kind of old. I always use a little strength with them, just because I feel like my intuition has gotten better, but it's definitely not nowhere near as foggy as it is when I use all my old tools. And I noticed that's because literally at some point you have to realize, okay, if I use this during this mindset, while using it again, my muscle memory, my energy, my auric field is going to remember the frequencies I was holding last time I used this, so it's going to try to bring me back into those frequencies. And it's up to you to maintain the frequency that you know that you are at. The Knight of Pentacles, the Empress, and the Knight of Swords, the 8 of Cups at the bottom. So the Knight of Pentacles, the Empress, and the Knight of Swords, right? So the Knight of Pentacles, Knights represent movement. They represent fast movement. They represent immaturity. They represent the need to act before speaking or thinking, because you know that you're so strong and you know you're gonna handle it. But then there comes the person who, you know, has been handling it for 30 years, and you think because they look old, they're gonna let you just get them and literally make 2 steps and you gone. That's the energy of Knights. But they're also like messengers. Well, no, pages are messengers. Are pages messengers? This is gonna sound crazy, but interpret it how you want, because the Knight of Pentacles to me is usually fast moving money. The Page of Pentacles is usually immaturity, but the Knight of Wands to me is really immature, really teenage energy. And I think it's because to me the Page of Wands is more so the one who is coming through with the action, and he's determined and he doesn't care, he's moving forward. You know, that's why I say to me it's literally flipped when interpreting those. So interpret it how it comes to you. Don't allow anyone else's interpretations to deter your intuition, because your intuition is meant to be interpreted by you and the people who are meant to be listening to you and guided by you. That's why we're all here, right? So the Empress, this represents Kali, for this deck, but the Empress is that divine feminine energy who is able to multitask, who is able to protect, who is able to nurture, who is able to live in luxury and comfort and manifest her reality while still holding those boundaries and being that strong woman. That's that divine feminine energy. The energy of darkness within light, you know, that darkness that breeds the light, that anger that allows you to blossom after. You know, the person you become after all that hurt and pain, the thing that had to bring that hurt and pain, that's that Empress energy, that change, that transmutation, that Scorpio, butterfly, snake energy, you know. That's funny because I felt like that was a reading for somebody. That was someone's intuition. Like that was someone's higher self asking me for a little mini reading, and this little mini reading might have been what they needed to use their intuition to put two and two together. And you may be meant to work with Kali, you may be meant to work with, I was hearing Lilith, but it might just be Empress energy, you know, woman goddess. And then the Knight of Swords. Isn't that so funny? Because I was just saying the Knight of Swords literally reminds me of someone who's really impulsive. But they're not impulsive, they're not immature, they're just impulsive, they're calculated, they have their goals set for what they're being impulsive for. And that's my point. The Knight of Pentacles is more so just the I'ma spend this money, I'ma flex my money because I have the money. And the Knight of Swords is like I'ma do what I need to do because I know I gotta do it, and if I lose, I lose. But the Knight of Pentacles is more so just trying to put on this front that I have the money, that they're able to spend the money, if that makes sense. Yeah. And so when reading the cards, like I said, always listen to your intuition. Always know the number, the number. Always know the numerology behind the numbers that you're seeing. Pay attention to if you're constantly seeing repeated numbers, like knights represent, you know, men, and fast movement. I do have a lot of fast moving men, and I am a fast moving woman myself who acts in masculine energy a lot, so I do see knights a lot, you know. So there are certain things that are going to show up for you, as well as knights could represent timing. And if I was to look that up, you know, I would see the interpretation of that. So don't think that you always know more than the cards, because the cards may always open your eyes to something new. You may be trying to force a certain view, and the cards may be trying to show you a different way to look at things. As well as sometimes when it comes to reading these cards and stuff like this, you don't realize it, but the cards aren't like actually giving the message. The picture, the number, the way the card flew out, the smell you got when the card flew out, the thought you had, the feeling you had in your body. It's the little things, because really the cards are just like the activator of the message being received. Like I said, for me, it's more so just the initial action of touching stuff, doing stuff, moving a certain way, and then boom, it all falls into place. Yeah, I don't know how to end this off. I didn't really practice a outro, but thank you for watching this. It was fun. If you have any questions, leave a comment, leave a like if you liked the video. And if you want to see more, subscribe, I guess. Bye, guys.